To understand the validation between source and target. So guys, to understand the validation between source and target, so first thing what you have to validate is, if I have a source that is a table, and if I have a target that is also a table or any other thing also, then what is the validation we will do? Source can be table, it can be an Excel, or it can be a file, or it can be a Excel file. All those things I have already told. Let us consider an example where source is a table, target is a table, and what are the validation we will do? First, validation. We will validate the structure of the source and target table. Structure of the source and target table. Now, what is structure? Structure means the data type of source and target table. Then, next is the length of source column and target column. Suppose I have written varchar 2. Okay, so varchar 2, that means what? There can be 2 characters. So in the target, either it can be 2 characters or it can be more than 2 characters as written in the STM document. Even if the STM document, source to target mapping document, is given or not given, we will do this validation. If source to target map, do you remember source to target mapping document where there was what? Source table, source column, source data type, transformation, target table, target column name, target data type. Do you remember all those things? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So length, first of all, we'll take the length of the source column and the target column should be matching, or what can happen? Target column length can be more or equal to what? Source column length. This is point number 1, validation with respect to structure validation. Let us just write down. This is, suppose structure validation is point number 1. In this I have written 1.1. What is that? Length of source and target. Next, 1.2 under structure validation. Let us just make it like this: structure validation. Okay, so we are going to validate the source and target. So first is what? Structure validation, where we are going to validate the length of the source and the target column. And next we are going to validate the data type of source and target column. So if it is a number column in the source, the target should be also number. This is validation point 1. First we are going to validate what? Structure. Next, point number 2. After validating the structure, what we will validate is the count validation. Count validation means what, guys? If there are 10,000 records in the source and there are 10,000 records in the target, then it is fine. That means target should also have what? Same number of records as present in the source. Okay, so next is what? Count validation. Very, very important. Next is the data validation. Now, guys, data validation is a complex thing. Okay, so data validation means Now I have validated, okay, suppose there are 10,000 records from source and 10,000 records from the target. Now I have validated the structure, that is the data type and the length and all those things as per the STM. I have validated. So this is fine. And now what we'll do? Now we have validated the count. Okay, source table is having 10,000 records. Target table is having 10,000 records. That's fine. Now, what about the actual data? In a table, there's a source, there's a target. Now, what about the actual data? What about the actual data? That is what is the validation, which is what called as data validation, which is the complex part of the validation. Suppose, guys, this is a source table. Select a star from EMP is a source table, and select a star from, I have created EMP where, okay, where I have written what? Suppose I have written what, where I have given a condition ename not equals to, suppose something I'm writing Smith, some condition I'm writing. Okay. So now this is suppose a source table whose name is EMP. Target is also a EMP table or some other name I can give. Now, if I want to validate the source and target, first thing what I have to validate is the structure. Now structure is matching. Now we have validated the count. Now count should match. Okay, first thing is what? Count should match. If count is not matching, that will become a bug. That will become a bug. That will become a defect. Next thing is count is matching now each and every data. Each and every data. This is a ln. This is also ln. This data should match or not? Tell me yes or no.
Yes.
So next validation is the data validation. Actual data should match. Actual data should match. Now here, when we are validating the actual data, there are a lot of ways to validate the actual data. Now this is a very big topic. First is what? Now see, as per the STM document, okay, the business requirement. So what happened, guys? In the STM document, there are business requirement. Did I show you or not? There will be some complex rule based on that. Source data will be loaded into the target. So this is one way that we'll go to the STM document. We'll see the source column and what is the transformation logic written, and then data is getting loaded into the target. We will validate it. Okay, this is one way. If the STM document is given, we will check the business logic and we will validate. Now there are some kind of testing we do. Now what are the kind of testing we will do? That is what, guys, everything will be written in STM document, and there is something called as data cleansing. Now what comes under this data cleansing is, suppose if the rule is what in the STM document, if it is written, or in the business requirement document, there is something called as business requirement document. Many times STM document might not be given, or it has to be given, or it has to be given. But if it is not given, then also we can go and see from where? BRD document, that is business requirement document. Now there is something called as data cleansing or data cleaning or data scrubbing. What happens in data cleansing or data cleaning, or what happens, guys? Data cleansing or data cleaning or data scrubbing. What we do here, there are some kind of check, like what? Making first character, okay, first character as a capital letter. So this is one of the data cleansing activity. Next is what? Decoding the data. Suppose some data are some data needs to be decoded. Okay, encoding and decoding. Do you know this? If we want ABCD to be encoded, what will do? We'll do some kind of coding. A we will write as X, B will write as Y, C will be written as Z, and D will be written as M. This is one kind of encoding. Decoding of data means what? We will just clearly mention that A will be as what? X is nothing but A. This is nothing but decoding of data. Next is what? Rounding of decimal point. Decoding of data is not that much use, but rounding of data, this again comes under data cleansing. Round, suppose 8.56 is there, we can make it as 8.7. Then these are the things, guys. Removing, suppose unwanted data. Unwanted data means what, guys? Unwanted data means what? Data having junk data. What is junk data? Example, let us take an example. Suppose the data is having comma, data is having extra comma, or it is having extra space, or extra, suppose some apostrophe. So these are nothing but your, guys, what? Unwanted data, which should be taken care at the time of data cleansing, data cleaning, data scrubbing, data quality checks. All this will come under what? Data. Let us just decoding of data is not that much use. Let us just remove this so that we have a clear and an easy understanding. Let us just put these things in a point wise. Let me just put it in a point wise. Yes. So you can tell in data cleansing or data cleaning or scrubbing or data quality check. So these are what? Data quality checks. What are the thing? First, I told you that making the first character as capital letter, then rounding of the data and removing what? Unnecessary or unwanted data. So what is the unnecessary unwanted data? Like data is having extra comma, or is having extra space or extra apostrophe. These are not nothing but your data quality check. Now increasing the data validation. Now increasing the data validation. See, guys, clearly I have mentioned. First, I told you structure validation, then I told you count validation, and the third point, which is the most important, is nothing but your data validation. We are focusing on this. First, I told you in data validation, actual data should match from source to target. We'll check as per the STM document or the business requirement document. And then I told you what? We are going to do some kind of data cleansing, data cleaning, or data quality check. Like the first letter or first character should be capital letter, then rounding off, then removing unwanted data. And then what we will do, guys, then we will test something called as aggregated data. Data aggregation. Now, guys, data aggregation means some of the data aggregation filters are there. Okay, list of transformations are there. Data aggregation check, which is a very, very important features. So this is done using, if I use a Informatica tool, then I will tell you which are the kinds of transformations which are involved, which are available in Informatica. As of now, data aggregation check means data are aggregated using any of the function like sum, like max, like mean, then average, then count. So any data has got aggregated and loaded into the target. So that should also match from the source to target. Now increasing this is the data cleansing. I told you first we will do the data cleansing. Yeah.
Sir, here you have told that data aggregation should match the source and target. So suppose you have eliminated Smith from the target table, then as per that our aggregate function will not be the same.
That I will tell you. See how to do that validation. That is a separate topic. If the source, I have to write the query select start from EMP. That is nothing but your source where ename not equals to Smith. Then I have to take the count. Select count start from source where ename not equal to Smith. I should get the count as 13.
Okay.
Select
Okay.
count star from target. I should get the count as target. So guys, that validation part I will teach you separately. How to do. Now just see which are the kind of validations we will do. First is what? Data clear as per the STM document or the business requirement. We'll check the data between the source and the, so we will check the data between what?
Data source data
Source and target.
target.
Then I told you we also check the data. We check the data quality check, or we do data cleansing, cleaning, scrubbing, and all these three I told you. And also we'll check the data aggregation. I told you all this kind of aggregation. Then we check there's something called as in data aggregation. I just wanted to tell you some of the transformations which are present in Informatica, which you can tell loud and clear. Following are the transformation used in Informatica. So you have to tell these are the validations we have done. Like first is aggregate transformation. Now what are these we will learn later. Next is expression transformation. Next is filter transformation. Next is joiner transformation. Next is router transformation. Next is sorter transformation. Next is suppose sequence generator transformation. Next is lookup transformation. All these transformations are present in Informatica. We'll learn one by one neatly. Next kind of validation when we are validating between source and target is nothing that this data validation is over. Now the next kind of validation we do here is validate the correct processing of ETL generated fields such as surrogate key. So what we are going to validate? Validate the ETL generated field such as surrogate key, or we'll just write in simple. I just want to tell you validate the surrogate key. Surrogate key means by ETL mechanism this particular key gets generated. Now what is that ETL mechanism? All those things will be taught to you. As of now we'll validate the surrogate key. And the last and the final thing what I wanted to tell you is nothing but your validation of SCD. Slowly changing dimension. All the three, type 1, type 2, and type 3. Now, what is this SCD type 1, type 2, type 3 validation and all? That will be taught to you in detail. As of now, these are what the validations which will be done when we are validating the data from source to target. Okay, first what you have to tell is, guys, first I'll validate the structure, then I validate the count, then I'll do the data validation. First three is the mandatory. Later one you can tell if you want. If you don't tell, then also that's fine. But try to tell. At least till 4 you can tell. Suppose you can tell validate the surrogate key which is generated by ETL process. And if you want, you can tell the last one also, validation of SCD, slowly changing dimension, type 1, type 2, type 3. These are the validations of ETL testing. So if I tell all the 5, what I will tell? So if a question is asked, okay, the data from the source to target, what are the kinds of validation you have done? So we'll tell, first we have validated the structure. That means the length of the column between the source and the target, the data type between the source and the target. We have validated the count between the source and the target. Then we have done the data validation. That means each and every data from source to target is matching, and in that we are checking the data quality checks, like rounding of data, removing unwanted data, or making a first letter of name to be capital. Then we have also done the aggregation checks. We using Informatica util. I have checked all the kinds of transformations, like aggregate transformation, sorter transformation, router transformation, filter transformation, joiner transformation. At least 5 you can tell. We have also validated the surrogate key, and then we have validated the slowly changing dimension type 1, type 2, and type 3. These are the kinds of validation done for as an ETL tester. This completes your complete answer. You give the answer like this, the interviewer will tell, please take the offer. So this is one of the validation things what you should tell. This class was very, very important because, guys, how you explain the answer, that is also very much required, and that is very much useful. Now, guys, after you have learned all these things, then we are going to learn, guys, actual thing. What is that? Nothing but the list of transformation validation. Like list of transformation means what? Like your aggregate transformation. Oh,